Nintendo announced the Wii 10 years ago this week. How old were you 10 years ago?
Good Lord, I think I was like, I had to be at least 10 or 11.
When the Wii was first announced?
Yeah, because as far as like gaming goes, I was right at that point where the Wii looked like the greatest thing in the world, and I had to have one. And like my Xbox 360 could go in the attic for all I care for. And I knew that I wanted one. It's crazy to hear that it's been 10 years.
10 years. Um, and when they announced the Wii, and by the way, the Wii had a really awesome code name. It was called the Nintendo Revolution. And my friends and I remember at the time, we were all like, "Oh, I hope they keep it that way. I hope they don't name it anything stupid." And then it was neat. They announced the name of the console. Like I want to say the day before the uh, the actual press conference where they showed everything. And Reggie Fils-Aimé came out on the stage and said something to the effect of, I'd like to thank everyone who had positive, glowing things to say about the new console's name. Both of you." Because he knew it. He knew it was a ridiculous name
Oh
for a
yeah.
console. It still is. It still is. But it's, to me, even though it's ridiculous, it really fits. I bought a Wii when Brawl came out. I had no interest in it until then. I picked up a few Wii games in that, aside from Smash Brothers. There's some games on there that are worth playing. Um, I mean, it doesn't have the most impressive library, but it has some. To me, the Wii seems a lot like my feelings towards the Nintendo 64. I don't think the system itself was all that great when compared to its contemporaries of the day, but it had some incredible hits on it. Just not that many as Nintendo used to have when they were dominating in the 90s. Um, but yeah, I remember thinking it was ridiculous. It was nice that I could play GameCube games, and it was fun. I actually have a pretty funny story about how I got mine. I was living in um, I was living in Texas at the time, and I had a roommate who one of my nicest roommates. Honestly, I wish I could have he could have just moved with me when I moved, but he actually this is right around the time when when it first came out, it was very hard to get a hold of. It was hard to get a hold of for like definitely the first year, maybe even the first year and a half when it was out. Nintendo just could not meet the demand. So you had all these crazy runs. You had to be calling GameStop, Walmart, Target, whoever, to see if they were getting a shipment in. And when Smash came out, I want to say maybe maybe a year and a half, 2 years. It was right. It honestly, Smash came out right as they were picking up, and the Wii's weren't so hard to find anymore because everyone and their grandmother was buying those systems, and that's why Nintendo has such a fat banking account right now. It's all thanks to the Wii. But everyone was buying them. They couldn't keep up with demand, and my roommate, I had to work the next day, but I had found out that um, I think it was probably a GameStop, the local one that I frequented. They had a shipment coming in, and I knew he had the day off the next day, and I had to work. I was like, "Hey man, could you do me a favor?" And I didn't even have the money to give it to him then to pick it up for me. I was just basically like, "Hey, if you can buy me this." Oh no, that's what it was. I didn't have the money at the time, so I was simply going to pay his part of the rent. Which, in retrospect, I would never agree to something like that ever, especially after now some of the experience I've had with roommates. Um, not a good idea to agree to. But he was a nice guy. He said, "Yeah, sure, that's absolutely okay. We did trust each other." So he did it. He got me Smash Brothers. He got me Wii. I was so thankful for it. So of course, when the rent was due, knocked on his bedroom door. I was like, "Hey, you got the rent money?" And he immediately was like, "Oh, I was just," and I was like, "Don't worry about it." I said, "I'm totally joking with you. I've got that covered. I'm not gonna be like that." And he was just like, "Oh, I thought we were gonna go to a really ugly place just now." But yeah, that's how I got that's how I got a hold of one. I've enjoyed the system. Um, like I said, there are some really good games available for it. Um, I still have mine. I think I'm actually on and off still playing Metroid Prime 2 Echoes on the Metroid Prime trilogy on the Wii. So still playing through that. Good system, not one of Nintendo's best. And it, let's face it, it had mass market appeal, which you can't say that for a lot of consoles at the time.